Lori here. I just want to do a quick video. This one is definitely inspired by the Artsy Reader Girl. I always really enjoy her prompts when I have time to create them. So the topic this week is changes you have noticed in your reading life. And this is a big one that I've noticed, especially this year. Last year was a little bit chaotic. I started a new job. And my reading habits have changed a little bit. I did post a reading routine video, which I think was helpful for me to film. So if you guys are interested in my reading habits or my reading routine, it is it's a few videos back. But yeah, here are the top 10 things I've noticed about my reading habits recently in the past year. And this is going to be specifically talked about in the other reading notes, but I have been definitely more adventurous in my reading life this year. I read a lot more things than I normally would. I'm very normally a strict fantasy and sci-fi reader and contemporary. Those are normally the genres that I gravitate to, but this year I've really made a concerted effort to read widely, and I have done that. So I've read a lot of middle grade this year, which I really enjoyed. I read many more graphic novels than I ever thought I would read in a year, and I'm really happy about that. And I also was able to read more contemporary books, but also historical fiction. And so just in general, my reading habits have diversified a little bit, and I really like that because I was really pushing for that last year. Just didn't happen, but this year I have actually diversified what I read. And if you watch my favorite things video where I talked about my favorite bookmarks and my favorite book sleeves and stuff like that, I have made lists of how many books I finished. So right at the filming of this video, I'll just give you guys my stats if I can find them. At this time of the filming of this video, I have read, in 2019, I have read 58 backlist titles, which is nice. I have read 57 new releases, which is just crazy. I have gotten rid of 75 books this year. I have, let's see. I have read 16 mysteries, 9 Halloween-themed novels, 20 fantasy, 24 middle grade, 2 historical fiction, 34 contemporary, 14 audiobooks, and 8 graphic novels, and 3 contemporary adult novels. So those are my stats that I'm actually super proud of right now. And yeah, so that's my first reading change that I have noticed. I found that I was struggling a lot with reading life balance, and I felt like I was only reading really on the train to and from work, which is a good amount of hours, but once I came home, I really had no time for anything else but prepping for work. So I feel like I've actually had a much better life balance. Now, what I have to be better at is actually in making time for watching TV shows and not just reading, and actually watching less booktube videos because sometimes it's a little bit hard to stay track on everything. So just trying to have a better, more entertainment life balance. Because I've been so afraid that I'm going to be under on my Goodreads goal, which I'm actually nowhere near being under. So I'm actually happy that I can read watch TV as well. So, but I've actually been much better with my life balance, especially in regards to reading and working, which was not the case last year. This video, I have read 3 pure adult books this year, not including nonfiction, which I am shocked by. I read 2 women's fiction books, and then I read a historical fiction novel, which I really enjoyed. And I actually bought a bunch at New York City Comic Con this year. But yeah, I'm diversifying what I read, and I think those genres normally scare me a little bit. But I actually really enjoyed them. I mean, I will admit I don't think women fiction is my genre, but that's okay. I did enjoy it, and I felt like it was nice, relaxing, and I might actually pick those up when I have a stressful week at work because they're kind of easier to read. Well, contemporary fiction books are. But yeah, that's my thoughts right now on that, and I'm actually pretty proud that I've actually, so far at the filming of this video, I've read 3 pure adult novels, which is crazy to me. And I even read 1 nonfiction book, which again is shocking for me. So all good things. One that I've actually gotten a lot better at, and that is reading my Owl Crate books or my bookboxing books on time. I have actually, since May, I have read every book in the month that it's come out. I'm a little bit worried about Bone Houses because I haven't got there yet. But the good news is I accidentally read the book that's coming in Owl Crate for November. So I will be like a month ahead on that. Um, and I actually do know the book for December, so there's a possibility I might read it a little bit earlier. But we will see. I'm really excited for all the books that Owl Crate has been putting out. So I've actually been so much better, and I've actually just put them on my TBR, and then I've been picking them relatively fast. But that's something that's really has stressed me out in the past. And I need to get. I think I need to read um, Gilded Wolves, and then I think I will have read them all. Um, so yeah, that's one of the books that I have to add to my TBR. But then I think I have literally read every book that I've had out so far this year, not including September or October. But I've actually been doing pretty good. So that's actually pretty good. And I've actually been pretty good at reading my limited edition boxes. Like I just read Tunnel of Bones when that came out. And I'm going to read Queen of Nothing the second it gets in my hands because I'm so excited for that thing and I cannot be spoiled. So I'm doing much better with that. And that's actually been a 3-year goal. So I'm actually pretty proud of myself right now. I have always struggled with this. I've always struggled rating books lower than 3 stars. And I always said that 3 stars is like my lowest rating I will give. But this month I've actually like rated books 2 stars. And that's hard for me to do because I feel like someone like puts time and effort into a book. So it's hard for me to rate it lower than 3 stars. But there was actually some books this month that I really have rated lower. And that's hard. But I think I want to be honest with my subscribers and people that follow me for my opinions, because it's just fair to you guys. So I've actually tried my hardest to really, if I don't like a book, to give it 2 stars. And I'm trying to follow the Goodreads approach, also my approach. But yeah, so I've actually been a little bit harder in my book rating, and kind of going along with that, I definitely have DNF books this year. I've DNF'd at least one book that I can remember. And I've put other books down that just weren't capturing my attention. But that's something that I've also struggled with because I'm such a completist and I need to know how a story ends. But I have DNF books this year. That's another one that I've never done before. So I have done that quite a few times this year as well. Even I've definitely DNF one book and I've put down other ones, so they might actually get picked up later. But yeah, that's my thought. That's my progress on that I'm actually relatively proud of myself with. Books as a great motivation tool to work out, and I've actually been trying to get better with that recently because in the summer I was doing it so well. But I've also, what I've started to do with audiobooks is I've started to listen to them at work when I'm like grading, and it's actually really motivating. So I've actually gotten better at listening to audiobooks, and that's probably what I'm going to try to do this week. Instead of watching old booktube videos, I might just stick on an audiobook. But I have like 3 periods off a day at work, and I can just kind of like go in my office and grade unless kids need me for things. But I've been trying to tell them to go to lunch and have fun, but they don't always listen to me. But so that's something that I have noticed about my life. I have actually been getting a lot more listening done, maybe working out or grading or stuff like that. But yeah, that's another thing that maybe you can add some listening time to your life if you just take a task that kind of don't need to be that, if I'm just grading or something that you do at your job and just throw in an audiobook, you might get a little bit of listening done. So I have always been like a mood reader, or a seasonal reader. Like I'll be very like, okay, I'm gonna read all my horror books this month, and I've actually been doing that. Like I have read a lot of like Halloween themed books, and I'm about to enter high fantasy season, which I'm really excited about. So I actually think one of my next videos I'm gonna film for you guys is like a high fantasy TBR, the books that I really want to tackle. But I said this earlier, I've actually been better at reading different types of books and like, reading, middle grade and stuff like that. So that's actually been better this year. And I have had these lists where I like check books off. They have not been the best, I'll be honest, my list making. But that's a goal for next year, and we'll talk about that in like the end of the month or the end of the year. But I've tried to get better with my list and checking them off. It just hasn't worked. I'm hoping Little Inkling Design Planner will have a place for that. That's my hope. But yeah, so, and also I've really just relaxed, and I've just kind of said, okay, if I'm not going to make my Goodreads goals, I'm not. I think I've gotten a little bit better recently, but I've tried to have a better reading relax. I'm trying to take a super space chick approach to life and just read what I want to read and not be worried that the arcs are all coming out and I haven't read them yet. But Let me know in the comments what are some changes you have noticed in your reading life. I would love to hear about them, and we can talk about it in the comments. And I'll talk to you guys later for another video. Bye.